Welcome to Creating Disney Magic with Lee Cockerell. Lessons in leadership, management, and customer service. You can create magic too. I'm your host, Jody Mayberry, and I'm with the retired Executive Vice President of Walt Disney World, Lee Cockerell. Lee, every once in a while I feel like I should give that introduction because if someone's new to the show, they may not know you were a big shot once.
Yeah, a lot of people probably think I'm dead. So I mean, if you don't hear about people, they just kind of fade away. But yeah, we're doing good. Thank you.
Good. Well, Lee, I just returned from a wonderful road trip. I flew to St. Louis, then went to visit family in Illinois, bought a car, and drove it all the way back to Washington State. What was interesting about it is I got to experience customer service in different places, different situations across the country. For example, we ate at a restaurant in St. Louis because I'm going to call my wife out here. She might not like it, but she said the Midwest had no distinctive food. And I said, "All right, that's not fair. We're passing through St. Louis. We'll stop. You can try toasted ravioli and St. Louis style pizza." She enjoyed both. Have you tried either of those, Lee?
I have not.
Okay, well, next time you're in St. Louis, we'll make sure that happens. But we had great service there. We experienced some dining, some hotel hospitalities, and stayed at a couple of Marriott's along the way. Of course, they were great. And I have a couple of examples I want to share because I have one big question, and that is the what can you tell about businesses by some of the things you see? So I'll give you two examples. I'd like to point it out if a location does really good service. I don't ever like to say the name if a location does bad service, but we stopped at a hotel in a town in Utah, walked into the room. My wife saw stains on the bed, including a blood stain. She said, "No, I'm not staying here. I don't even want another room in this hotel because if this room is bad, what are we not seeing?" And I said, "It sounds like you've been talking to Lee Cockerell." So we left that hotel, got a Marriott room, and I talked to the manager. Manager said, "I'm so sorry. It's just hard to find good help."
I'll tell you a story about that in a second too. Go ahead. I had the same conversation with somebody yesterday, and
Okay, so here's the other one. I'm gonna give them to you both so we can just have a bigger conversation. In Colorado Springs, we stopped at Mission Barbecue, which is wonderful. Have you ever eaten at Mission, Lee? There's one in Orlando.
no,
When I'm there, we'll go eat at Mission again. We got there close to closing time, only gave us about 20 minutes to eat. We ate right up until closing time. And I noticed how they didn't start cleaning. There was us and another family there eating. They did not start cleaning up. They did not start mopping the floors. They did nothing to indicate it's almost closing time and you need to get out of here. And I thought, how rare to see that because we ate at other places along the way close to closing time and they would start mopping the floors, they would start putting up the chairs when people were in the restaurant eating. and,
yeah,
and so those are two examples I think that I've given you to show subtle things that make you think, okay, if they do this, what are they doing that I don't see, both good and bad?
yeah. Oh, I agree with you. It's kind of like when you do that, it's like starting to take the props off the stage during a stage show before the show's over. you know, so I think people who do that have got their act together. That this is a the show starts and it ends, and then you do the work before and after. So that's true. The guy I talked to yesterday, let me just, you talked about labor, and it's true. He told me he's had a landscaping business, a very successful one, and he said, but I'm 40 years old. I can't keep people. The turnover is so much. I'm having to do so much of the physical work myself. I can't uh, plan the business and take care of the business and look for new clients and all. He said, what do you think I should do? Should I apply to somebody like Marriott or county or state government or somebody that's really got the ability to stay in business and to pay the people the right thing and blah, blah, blah. And I told him, I said, listen, in my opinion, labor's going to get worse. It's not going to get better, especially since we pushed all the immigrants out. People don't do this work. And this is in a hot place where he lives. And I said, and you're 40 years old, your back is not going to get a lot better of working out in horticulture. So if I were you, at some point in your life, you got to call it one way or the other. You either stay and try to make it work, or you move on and make a different decision and go to work for a company, because entrepreneurship's tough. And if you can't get the labor and you can't pay the rates and people quit every day, I mean, it's a huge problem in Orlando right now. Turnover everywhere you go. People are there today and gone tomorrow. I mean, they're just not stabilizing service, and it shows. And then you see the anxiety of the manager, who's probably working 7 days a week and trying to get it done. And so we've got a tough thing going forward. But, we talked about what's the answer. And I said, one of the answers is that psychological safety we were talking about. Create a place where people love it, love to work there. You pay attention to them, you train them, you take care of them, you're available when they got a problem. You create an environment where they can speak up when they're frustrated with you as the boss. And you can tell them when your things are not going well, and they can tell you. And I'm more convinced than ever it's this mental thing that people say, I'm not putting up with this, and they quit. Looks like they're not making a lot of money anyway. They can get another job down the street at McDonald's or Burger King or another horticulture place. So people really need to rethink that. I had this talk with a Brazilian group yesterday, and I said, same thing. That might be the magical success piece for your business, is to go back and create a place where nobody wants to leave. And especially when they compare it to your company to everybody else out there, they go, hey, I'm not leaving here, man. I can go to another job and get the same pay, but can I get the same environment? Can I get the same care? Somebody take care of me? That's, people want comfort and safety. And I think this physical safety, this psychological safety could be one of the answers if leaders would wake up and start taking care of these people, and think about it every minute when you get out of your car in the morning. Start paying attention to the people, and make them feel special, make them train them, and give them a better life, and tell them that when you hire them, that you're not going to want to leave. You're going to want to be here because I'm going to look after you. I'm available for you. This is not like where you worked before. I don't know where you worked before, but I can tell you one thing: we are committed to the people here. So I hope you enjoy it here. I hope you stay, and we'll get you ready for either you'll have a good experience here, or you'll learn so much here that if you do go somewhere else, you'll have a good experience there, because they're going to love you. And I just think about that a lot. It's talk about mental illness. It's people can't take all this crap from their bosses and demands, and not paying them much and laying them off, and people have zero trust right now with the workforce. I mean, I don't think anybody trusts their organization anymore. Literally. Literally. Every company said we love you, and then they lay off 5,000. And going to have to find a different formula. I don't know what it's going to be. I know you got to make money too, but it's better be. And maybe the AI could help. We'll have less people, but we treat them better, so we don't have to do layoffs, and some of that work can be done with something else. But I think about it a lot now. I think about it a lot when I think back with your kids. Do they feel 100% safe and believe you and trust you? And a lot of families could rethink how they're dealing with their children especially when they become 13, 14, 15 years old, to not get into that battle stations, but to bring them closer even. And so it's the old brain doesn't react well to getting mistreated. And so it's, and I think a lot of people are growing up and being in bad situations. There's a lot of bad leaders out there, and there's a lot of bad parents. And we end up them damaging these young people, and then we got to fix them when they come to the workplace. Yeah. So that's kind of the end of the story of why this is happening to us everywhere we go. Now, today I got a new dishwasher. These guys were unbelievable. They were great. They were here. They were on time. They had the whole system where they know what time they're coming. I can track them where they were, what time they're going to get here. The company is called Aggressive Appliances, and I said, "Well, they were aggressively great." I mean, and one guy was telling me he'd been a guard in Angola prison in Louisiana when he was 18. So he's been around. He's been married 25 years, and the other kid had just started. But it was attitude. They just made sure everything was. They just were unbelievable, great. I had no hassle today, and um, so they asked me to give a rating. I gave, of course. This is great. I said, these people, I've been doing business with 30 years, and that's why every time I deal with you, it's no problem. And the people ask him, do you like working there? He said, yeah, they're great. I've been there 5 years. I'm not going anywhere. And he said, I also learned working at Angola prison, don't get in trouble. You don't want to go into prison. He said, don't make a mistake. He said, I pay my taxes on time. I don't do anything wrong, because I saw these people in Angola, 6,000 prisoners in Louisiana. And yeah, I said, well, you know something most people don't know. You got experiences nobody else knows. You know things nobody else knows. And I think what he saw was good lessons in life, help you not make mistakes. And so most leaders need to start to understand that their influence is huge, huge. I mean, if people quit, it's their fault, basically. I mean, why would you leave somebody who loved you? And you loved them, and it was great, and you were learning. Yeah.
But with what you've just said, if we take the two examples I gave, the hotel where we left, and he just said it's hard to find good help, and the restaurant who had plenty of staff and treated us great. Everyone was having a great time. Are you saying the difference between the two, one is a place where people enjoy working and feel safe, and the other probably is not?
I would say if they stay, they must feel pretty good about it. And if you leave, you feel pretty bad. I think we just got to go with like common sense. Say, okay, if I'm having one guy turn, then there's something wrong. I don't know what it is, but something's wrong. And my job as a leader is to figure it out. And to get it, and how do you figure it out? You have a better relationship with the team. You sit and talk to them. You have coffee with them. You ask them for opinions. How can we do this better? What do I need to do better? When's the last time you thought about quitting? How can I help you not do that? I want you here. You're going to have a. I'll make sure you have a good career and you learn the business, and you'll have. Yeah. Okay. There. All of a sudden, you might see turnover go down. And I think it's so common sense, basic, that we have trouble. And I think the leaders are so stressed out, they don't believe they can do that. They don't have a minute. I don't have a time. I can't, because they're dealing with all the things that are causing it. It's kind of it's a rotating wheel. Um, Unless you stop and do it, and it may be really hard for a while. You gotta you gotta get in there and put something in there to stop that wheel from turning. And um, I would say anxiety probably for the leaders and the managers, anxiety and lack of psychological safety from the owner or the corporation or their marriage, or there's a million things going into why people don't feel like they got the time to deal with people. Because people, if you're going to talk to you, we got to sit and talk. I mean, I can't just Hey, half the time the leaders don't even know their employees' names. And people feel that. We know who appreciate us and who don't. We all know. And so it's we got to quit beating around the bush, I think, and thinking it's some world strange disease. It's not. It's probably you. You're the manager. You're either the you're the influence. You create the environment. You create the culture. You create the safety, or you don't. And there's a lot of pressure on people today. You got enough problems without being in charge of other people. I mean, now you got some people say you got enough problems without having children. I mean, you want to pile on some more, and then a job, and then a recession, and then, and then, and it just kind of fizzles out. It's got to be on purpose, and you got to get up every day and think about how can I get my life under control. People are disorganized. We talk about time management. They don't know what to do. They don't keep up. They don't keep learning. They don't know what quality looks like. You just get into this rut where you can't get the truck out of the rut because you're stuck. And you got to make some hard decisions to get unstuck in life. I think about myself, more and more as Priscilla and I would talk about how much energy we have today because we quit drinking alcohol. We're eating better. I go to the gym twice a week for strong workouts. Those are on purpose changes and they pay off. I mean, it's like, duh. You don't drink a bottle of wine, you probably feel better tomorrow. If you read a book, you might know something to solve a problem you have next week. It's just, this is don't be pointing at all the other excuses we have. Most of your problems in life are your fault, including mine. I mean, including mine. I heard a story today that one of the addictions is um, something you do when you're not happy, that it's an addiction. Like your wife says something, you don't like it, you raise your voice to her. That's an addiction. It makes you feel better for a few minutes, like cocaine, and then you get in trouble and it keeps going. So you keep doing it because you get this little burst of, yeah, I won that one, huh? Or there's a lot to be said for that. Some of the things we do that make us feel good for a very short time. One's eating cheesecake, one's drinking wine, one is take abusing your authority, thinking you're not and make people do things they don't want to do. I mean, so I'm thinking more and more about this. These solutions are probably pretty simple, but you got to figure out what they are, and then you got to start doing them, which is even the harder part. Uh, that's so maybe we ought to do a seminar and now more and more, and the Brazilians just that too. I'm telling them now, think about two things you're not happy about, write them down. Next week, make them go away. The lady said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, maybe you need a new husband. Maybe you need a new job. Maybe you need a new boss. Maybe you need a new doctor. I don't know why you're unhappy. But I know one thing, if you're unhappy and you're not doing anything about it, you know what it is. You're just not doing anything about it. So you're not going to get happy till you make a change. You're not going to get in better shape by laying in bed. You got to go to the gym. You got the going and implementing and execution, and that's everything in life. And the drug is that I'd rather sit down and rest or have a coffee or eat a piece of apple pie. Just it's not worth it. I don't doesn't feel. You got to get it in your brain where you look forward to working out, where you look forward to reading a book in bed at night, where you look forward to going to a seminar, where you look, you know. So I think there's a whole thing going down the path here.
Just yesterday, Lee, my son mentioned you and Arnold Schwarzenegger together
I
as
like
two.
Arnold.
He compared you two as two people who have through workout and whatnot just maintained vitality and a great strength and mindset as you've gotten older. So there you go. My son compares you to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, there you are. I wish I looked like Arnold. That would be Arnold's funny. He's really lays it out there, the truth, whether you like it or not.
Yes.
So anyway, that's something to think about for everybody listening today. What are you
Yeah. Well, this is here's the one thing I take. Lee gave us all that good information, and I wrote down employee turnover is your fault,
gonna
which Lee didn't say that exactly, but Lee said that.
like
And
divorce? Divorce is somebody's fault.
yeah, there you go. Well, on this road trip, Lee, to mildly change subjects, I stopped in Cripple Creek, Colorado, since we're talking about someone aging well. I stopped in Cripple Creek, Colorado to visit my uncle who's 90 years old now, and he told me he's pretty sure he is the oldest person in Cripple Creek, which it's a small town. I don't think there's much competition, but it was great to see him, a Korean War veteran who's lived up in the mountains for 48 years now.
God bless him.
And yeah, it's just wonderful to see him. But if you would like to go to Colorado and see all the good things, maybe you even want to go visit my Uncle Jack. Call our friends at Magical Vacation Planner. I don't think they have a Cripple Creek special or anything like that, but they can help you travel anywhere you want to go. Call them at 407 442 2694. Let them know that Lee Cockerell thinks you need a vacation. They'll help you out from there.
And when I think of Cripple Creek, I'm thinking there must be a lot of old people there. Cripple Creek, wheelchairs, walkers. But
Well, it's actually become a gambling town. It's one of the two
oh,
towns in Colorado where they've legalized gambling. And
another
it was originally named after a gold miner. His horse broke his leg. So he named the creek Hip Creek.
and everybody can just remember if you don't change the way you do things, you're gambling.
Oh, look at that. Lee with a great tie-in.
You're
Well, if
gambling.
you want to see what we're up to, all the things we have to offer, like the Main Street Leader, go to cockerellstore.com. Until next week, go out and create magic for others.